Hello and welcome to Deacon's NFL Talk. I'm your host Deacon, and welcome back to another episode 29, I believe. I cannot believe we've come this far already. And this week, we have actually two special segments this week. I wanted to get to them this week. Yes, packed full episode of NFL news. This week, we will have notable signings, like big signings, because if we were to do the entire signings, obviously cut down day was early this week. So if we were to do like all the notable cuts and signings, there'd be hundreds of them. So we're not going to do all of those. We're going to do the biggest ones. After that, we have some suspensions to get to. Then we have some trades and quick hits. And then after that, we will have reactions. And then after that, we'll have back to football. So obviously at this point, everyone's back in school now, or at least almost back in school. If you're not in school yet, then that's actually kind of crazy. Obviously, we're all in school at this week. At least I am, and everybody else. So, you know how every year when you get back to school, you kind of forget a bunch of things. So to prevent that from happening, we have back to football, and I'll tell you guys all the latest signings and trades that we had this offseason that we don't forget going into this season. And then throughout the episode, I'll be playing this NFL fantasy draft that I was in. It is not a live fantasy draft. It is a replay of one I did earlier this week. So it'll be playing on your screen somewhere, so that way you can watch it. And then we have one question of the week. It's going to be a packed full episode on the final day of August and the final episode before the NFL season starts. It's going to be packed. It's going to be a long episode. I cannot wait for it. This is Deacon's NFL Talk. Alright, everybody, so the way it's going to work here, hopefully this will be something easy to see. I'll try to make it a little bit big, but I don't want to cover the entire screen. So what we're going to try and do here is I'm going to go through NFL news and play the fantasy draft at the same time, but I am going to go through the first round without saying anything. We're just going to watch the first round. Here it is right here. I am the 8th pick in the draft. The first pick was not a shock. It was Christian McCaffrey, as you just saw. But yeah, we're gonna watch the first part of the fantasy draft. Hopefully this, you guys can see this okay, because I don't want to cover the entire screen. I might cover it at first. Tyreek Hill, number 2 overall. I'm not gonna lie, my team wasn't terrible, honestly. Like, honestly, I'm pretty happy with my team a little bit. I mean, my draft wasn't terrible. I mean, you guys can grade it from 1 to 10 in the comments. But while we're watching this here, I will add that the Deacon's NFL Talk Fantasy Draft is open. There's not very many participants logged in yet. Ceedee Lamb goes number 3. But I really hope you guys that will join Jamar Chase. This draft went decently fast. I mean, probably around episode length, at least this week. All right, I am in 1 pick, so I'll get to the stuff later. But here we go. I'm almost up, I think. But anyway, back to the Deacon's Info Talk Fantasy Draft. There's only like 4 of you currently that has a team right now out of like 10 that said they would do it. So those of you that are in it and said you wanted to be in it, just make an account on NFL Fantasy. If you don't have an NFL Fantasy, you can download it. If you can't, that's fine. Here we go. I'm up here. My first pick was actually pretty good. We went into running back. I was looking around, receiver, running back. I couldn't like. I went with Derrick Henry. I feel like that's a decent pick. I mean, I feel like wide receiver could have been the way to go. But I feel like Justin Jefferson a little bit. Like, I'm not sure about Justin Jefferson this year because he doesn't have J.J. McCarthy or Kirk Cousins throwing to him. So I wasn't really sure about Justin Jefferson there. But anyway, the Deacon's Info Talk Fantasy Draft. The draft is actually starting tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. So sign up for the NFL Talk Draft. All the information for the draft is in the community tab. And the comment section on the announcement video that I did about that. And, yeah, so just check it out there. All right, I'm going to leave this playing, and we're just going to go through some NFL news. And you guys can either watch this or watch me, listen to me talking about NFL news and watch that. I really don't care what you do. We're having 2 things at once going on right now, so you can do whatever you want. All right, before we do that, though, I'm up in 1 pick. I will stop whenever I'm picking. So Justin Jefferson off the board, so I wasn't shocked right there. He went later without a receiver, but then this pick was actually I was actually pretty proud of this pick. All right, so we have Derrick Henry already, and like obviously I'm scrolling through there the ones you can select if you want. I really liked Marvin Harrison. I mean, right now I'm thinking of wide receiver, which I mean, yeah, I feel like you have to get wide receiver and running backs early. Don't draft a quarterback early. But I picked AJ Brown. The first year I did the fantasy draft, like the fantasy league. There's my roster right there so far: Derrick Henry and AJ Brown. But the first year I ever did NFL fantasy, I drafted Mahomes in first round because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I was not supposed to, so I just drafted Patrick Mahomes in round 1, and I was shocked that he was still there. Which, yeah, but all right. The first topic of the news: the Cowboys corner Deron Bland suffers from a stress foot fracture and will be sidelined for 6 to 8 weeks. This is very devastating. This is very unfortunate for the Cowboys here. I mean, we're talking about the fun fact. I did not know this. I've noticed for a while now, but I didn't notice at first. But apparently, Deron Bland had more pick sixes than Aaron Rodgers had snaps. Deron Bland had 5 pick sixes, and Aaron Rodgers had 4 snaps, which is actually kind of a crazy stat. I mean, I heard that Bland underwent surgery on Monday. It was successful, which is the good news. That's all we want to hear. You want to hear that he's doing good. And I'm glad he is, because he proved that he can be a really good corner in the league, and he really proved that last year in 2023. I mean, he led the league in interceptions with 11 and pick sixes with 5, and he is the record holder for the most pick sixes in a single season. So he's the record holder in his first year. So I mean, he was a rookie in 2023, and the thing that's unfortunate here is that the Cowboys were hoping to have Bland on and corner Trayvon Diggs on the field at the same time this season, but they'll have to wait 6 to 8 weeks, because obviously you guys forgot about last year. Last year Trayvon Diggs tore his ACL in training camp, and he was out for the year. That's before we even knew if Deron Bland was going to do all this, the stuff that he did. But it is unfortunate. I mean, at least as long as Trayvon Diggs stays healthy, we'll be able to see them in action, hopefully, at the same time. Which, I mean, I feel like that can develop into be one of the scariest corner duos in the league. I would not be surprised if it was. Like, I would not be surprised at all. But yeah, really unfortunate news for the Cowboys. I mean, they've had a bittersweet past week, I will say. If you guys did not see the title of the episode, or maybe it's not that, but yeah, just hopefully it gets better. And I honestly want to see Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs on both sides of the ball. It's going to be scary if they can live up to the expectations. So, all right, the Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase unexpectedly did not practice on Wednesday, a day after Zach Taylor said he would. So as a Bengals fan, this is kind of getting a little bit like nerve-wracking, but not nerve-wracking. You know, it's like I believe it was Tuesday when Zach Taylor said that he would practice the rest of training camp, and then the day after that, Jamar Chase doesn't practice, and still hasn't practiced, at least that I know of. But I'm gonna see if anything's changed yet, because as a Bengals fan, this is not what you want to hear. I mean, we're talking about one of the best receivers in the league, and we cannot get rid of him. I'll tell you that. So yeah, if we trade him at some point, or if we don't even sign him, that's really unfortunate. Like, that's not what you want to hear. But I mean, we have one of the best receiving duos in the league as long as T. Higgins can stay healthy. I mean, Jamar was the 5th pick in the 2021 draft and is entering his final year of his rookie deal that includes $1.5 million $1.05 million in base salary this year. So that's not enough money for a guy like Jamar, the kind of player he is, and like, he's just really talented. I mean, we're talking about a top 3, arguably top 3, but for sure top 5 receiver in the league, in my opinion, even though I think he's top 3. I mean, the Bengals owner, though, Mike Brown, normally doesn't sign players like to extensions during the season, because in case you forgot, Joe Burrow in 2023 he signed a extension 3 days before the season. As I'm up on the clock here, well, more on the Bengals. I mean, like, even if Chase does, like, I've heard that Jamar Chase could potentially, like, hold out during the season, which is actually kind of crazy. Like, I think that's what Brandon Aiyuk and Ceedee Lamb were going to do, and obviously they got paid extensions earlier this week. So it's been a really crazy week for NFL news. But I mean, like, if we at some point, like even soon, get rid of Jamar or trade him or whatever, that would be very unfortunate. I mean, not even as a Bengals fan, obviously, but even if Chase does hold out during the season, though, I feel like the Bengals have plenty of wide receiver depth. Obviously, T. Higgins, Jermaine Burton, the rookie third-round pick, which was a very good pick. I really like him. I actually thought about taking him in my fantasy draft, which I'm going to shift focus here after this. Trent Irwin, Andre Yossi-Bosch, and Charlie Jones. We used to have Akeem Butler, but apparently we cut him for cut down day. Here we go. Picking here. It is going to be a little bit of a mixture today. You know, some on and off. Here we go with my third pick of the draft. You know, I was busy at this point, so I was kind of had to rush through it. But here I am. I picked Nico Collins. I feel like that's not a bad pick. I mean, when you're rushed, it's kind of hard. But anyway, I also saw that Jamar Chase wants to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL by 1 penny. He wants to beat out his former teammate, LSU, Justin Jefferson, by 1 penny. Why can I just picture this so well in my mind? Jamar Chase signing his contract with a penny in his fingers, and he just shows it. He beat the league by that penny, holding it in front of his eye like he's that rich. You buy a penny. Why can I just picture that? So if this actually happens, though, that's actually kind of crazy. Well, I don't know why I can picture that so good because, I mean, Jamar's, like, kind of savage. I feel like he's like, very savage, I think. But, yeah, hopefully we can get him to a deal before the season and just at some point, really. Hopefully it's going to come soon. All right, second topic. The Cowboys actually agreed to a 4-year deal with Ceedee Lamb, which is actually very good news for the Cowboys. A $136 million extension. I feel like this thing with the Cowboys has been a thing going on. You know, this has been the offseason for wide receivers. I mean, not just trading-wise, but literally, like, who's going to go where, like, who's signing. Like, obviously, the Justin Jefferson thing, you know, he signed Brandon Aiyuk holdout, the Ceedee Lamb holdout, Jamar Chase holdout. He's, like, the only wide receiver left that has yet to get paid. And Ceedee Lamb got the deal done, which is very good news. I mean, he becomes the second highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, which is a huge accomplishment. I mean, especially when you're a non-quarterback. Like, obviously, quarterbacks get paid millions of money, like a crazy amount of money. But I mean, he is 25. I mean, only, and he's as good as he is. But anyway, he receives a $100 million guaranteed, $34 million average per year total, and a $38 million signing bonus, which is the largest ever for a wide receiver, and a $35 million average per year. That is second behind Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson. He made a lot of money. As you can see here, I'm in the red in the draft. I was so busy the day I did this that I honestly, it auto-drafted for a little bit. So, but yeah, now I was on auto pick. But anyway, like, I feel like I'm a little bit jealous here, like, because, I mean, obviously the thing with Jamar Chase, like, you know, like, I want Jamar Chase to get paid that kind of money. The thing is, though, for me, it'll feel like bittersweet. I mean, you might be like, why would it be bittersweet? You mean your best receiver is getting paid a lot of money. But I know we have, like, we paid Joe Burrow way too much, I'll tell you that. Just to be injury prone. He was already injury prone before that. So, I mean, you know, we don't want to spend too much money on Jamar, but we also want to give him the good contract for it. So, you know, it's one of those bittersweet things. But back to Ceedee Lamb. He led the NFL with 135 catches, ranked second in yards with 1,749, and ranked third in touchdowns with 12. So, I mean, really good season for Ceedee Lamb. And the Cowboys will now shift focus to all-pro quarterback Dak Prescott, and then at some point, Micah Parsons. I feel like they're shifting focus to Dak right now, I believe, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, why do I've already said what the Cowboys should do, and honestly, obviously, with I said trade for Matthew Judon, which he's in Atlanta now. I mean, still it could be similar. Like I think the Cowboys should still stick to like a similar plan like that I had. I mean, as of right now though, it'd be like re-signing Ceedee Lamb, check. Trade Dak Prescott or cut him, whatever. I would trade him for a good quarterback, or maybe draft one in the draft. So I think you should still do that. And then at some point, if you can afford Micah Parsons, then go ahead, sign him. Obviously, trading away or cutting Dak would save a lot of money. Or if you can't afford him, then I would trade for Hassan Reddick. That controversy with the Jets right now. So I mean, you never know. That's still up in the air. But we'll see what happens with them. But yeah, really good news for Ceedee Lamb. Really good news for the Cowboys. They got their wide receiver one, arguably top 3 in the league. I mean, I think he's obviously behind Justin Jefferson, but he's probably like people say he's like a top 2 wide receiver, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, he's very good at what he does. So yeah, guys, my throat is getting dry. I haven't even gotten to signings yet. All right, Browns running back Nick Chubb to start the season on the PUP list will miss at least 4 weeks. The PUP list stands for physically unable to perform. He's continuing from a rehab. He's continuing to rehab from a scary injury in week 2 of 2023, which if you guys saw that last year, that was like, I mean, like trust me, when I looked it up, and I like you could hear the stadium, like in Pittsburgh, like you could hear the replay was shown. And it was the crowd was actually like disgusted. Like they were like, you could hear them. Like they went, oh, like you could just hear them. It was actually really crazy. And then I looked it up on YouTube that same night. And then I saw it. I was like, oh, I might regret this. I watched it anyway, and I regretted it that night. Like I literally could not get that. I could not get that thought out of my head, or the video out of my head for a long time. And I honestly. Now I hardly even think about it anymore, and if I do, I don't really mind it anymore. But it stuck with me for a while, and it was like a very bad knee injury. I'm not surprised he's like not done for his career. Like look, if you have not seen that yet, look it up. Trust me. I mean, if you don't like that kind of stuff, then I wouldn't. But if you're curious, then you could do it. But Chubb tore his MCL and part of his ACL against Pittsburgh. So I mean, at least a part of his ACL. I mean, not a full tear, which is obviously good news. As I am up in the draft, here we go. Joe Mixon was a no-doubter for me. I mean, I have a really good running back too. I mean, with the Texans O-line, I feel like Joe Mixon was a pretty easy pick there. But back to Nick Chubb, his return could be as early as October 6th. I've heard when Cleveland visits Washington, and even if it's later than that, I feel like even with I'm sorry. Without Chubb, I feel like you can still win with Jerome Ford. And as I just picked Evan Ingram there, if you missed it, I just picked Evan Ingram. I feel like I could have went with a better tight end, but I just liked Evan Ingram, I guess. But yeah, I feel like if Chubb wants to rest by October 6th, I feel like you give him full permission because, I mean, you're playing Washington. I mean, Jerome Ford will do just fine in that game. I mean, their schedule, if their schedule is easy after that, until you play like a really good team, I would put him in. But against Washington, I'd wait till he gets like fully healthy if he's not 100% yet. I mean, in Chubb's last full season, though, he tied up 1,525 yards and 12 touchdowns. So, I mean, that's the kind of running back he is. A Pro Bowl running back for sure. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, just hopefully he'll be back better than ever this season. And, yeah. So we're going to go the second to last topic. We're almost through already. The Steelers, they named Russell Wilson the starting quarterback for week 1. So this is good news for the Steelers. But, I mean, Mike Tomlin said he's open to weaponizing Fields for his mobility talent, which Russell Wilson doesn't really have. So in the preseason, neither of them did really, really good. I feel like we could all agree on that. I mean, Justin Fields fumbled the ball quite a bit. Russell Wilson didn't do good. I mean, that one drive in Detroit, I think that's what made Mike Tomlin choose Russell Wilson over Fields. I mean, he is the veteran. I feel like he is a lot more experienced. So I mean, I'm not really surprised that he's the starter for week 1. But whenever he got injured his calf in training camp, I was like, oh, like Justin Fields has a really good chance of actually outbeating Russell Wilson. But in the end, I feel like Russell Wilson was the likely choice. I'm not really surprised that they went with Russell Wilson. I mean, at the start of the season, I was like, why are they even talking about this? Like, I feel like Russell Wilson is way better than Justin Fields, even though I do feel like that Justin Fields can still be a really, really talented quarterback. And don't get me wrong on that, but he didn't really have the weapons in Chicago. He never had the weapons in Chicago. I mean, he doesn't really have a great amount of weapons in Pittsburgh either. I mean, the fumbles, don't get me wrong, they're his fault. But, I mean, George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth, that's all you're going to give him. Like, the Bears now, I feel like Justin Fields would have been great for him. I feel like I feel like Justin Fields is a little bit jealous right now. But, trust me, Justin Fields will get his, I mean, he's probably going to be the Steelers starting quarterback long term once Russell Wilson retires. I hate to say that. I mean, I feel like once Russell Wilson either leaves or retires, I feel like Justin Fields is going to be their future. So I would not be surprised if he was the future for the Steelers. But right, second to last topic, or sorry, not second to last, the last topic. The Dolphins extended head coach Mike McDaniel through 2028. This is really good. I mean, obviously, if you guys haven't seen the criticism that Tua Tagovailoa had for Brian Flores, I guess he said he sucked all the time or whatever. I don't really have much info on that. But here we go. I'm up in the draft here. Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of a mixture today. But here we go. I'm picking here, I think, unless I'm doing something. I honestly can't remember. But it's been the first time that Miami, I forgot to pick Tank Dell. I mean, that wasn't bad. I should have picked DJ Moore. But it's been the first time that the Dolphins went to back-to-back playoffs since 2000 and 2001, which is actually a crazy stat if you think about it. But yeah, I mean, it's really good for the Dolphins. I mean, I feel like he's definitely become one of the better coaches in the league. I mean, I didn't know anything about him when he first came to coach the Dolphins. I mean, I didn't think he'd be this good. I mean, he's led them to the playoffs back-to-back seasons, and then he still has the roster to do it. So I think it's going to be really good for the Dolphins this year. And I think they're going to make the playoffs again this year. So, all right, that's all for NFL news. Perfect timing. I am on the clock. All right, I think I picked. Who did I pick? I either picked DJ Moore. I think I did. Spoiler alert. If I didn't pick DJ Moore, it was probably, well, what round are we in? We're in round, I either picked DJ Moore or a defense, I think. Yeah, I picked DJ Moore. Yeah, DJ Moore. I mean, I have good wide receiver depth, I'll tell you that. I mean, look at this roster so far. Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, A.J. Brown. I have adjusted it. I feel like but as of right now, as you can see, Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, Evan Ingram, and Tank Dell. I mean, I feel like that's the first four players are, like, insane. Then the first three I feel like are kind of mid. I mean, Tank Dell's good, but. All right, notable signings. All right, the Chiefs signed wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, quarterback Bailey Zappi, and running back Samaje Perine. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to reunite with the Chiefs. Cowboys signed running back Dalvin Cook. Jaguars signed linebacker Tanner Muse. Cardinals signed quarterback Desmond Ridder. Bills signed running back Frank Gore Jr., who they originally cut. And safety Lewis signed. Lions signed wide receiver Tim Patrick, wide receiver Allen Robinson, and wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones. Notable cuts. All right, the Patriots cut wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster and quarterback Bailey Zapp, who both ended up with the Chiefs. Broncos cut wide receiver Tim Patrick, who eventually signed with the Lions. Do we have any more of that? The Packers cut kicker Anders Carlson, quarterback Sean Clifford, and quarterback Michael Pratt. Titans cut corner Caleb Farley. Bills cut defensive tackle Gable Stevenson, an Olympic gold medalist. Chiefs cut wide receiver Kadarius Toney. No shock there, but then once again, I mean, I heard that their general manager or something, they don't regret the trade with him. I don't know. Steelers cut wide receiver Quez Watkins. Panthers cut wide receiver Terrace Marshall Jr., I believe. I can't remember. 49ers cut wide receiver Robbie Chosen, a.k.a. Robbie Anderson. And Seahawks cut quarterback P.J. Walker. Let me see if there's any more. I think I'm going through it here. I don't believe. I mean, Lions signed wide receiver Tim Patrick, Allen Robinson, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I already got that one. I think that might be it. Well, we have a lot of cuts here. I'm just going through them here. Cardinals originally cut Desmond Ridder, but then they re-signed him, or somebody signed him. Going through rounds cut quarterback Tyler Huntley. Yeah, so that's all for that. But yeah. All right, we're going to go to suspensions. Rams left tackle Alaric Jackson faces a 2-game suspension for violating NFL's personal conduct policy. I got a little bit into that last week. I also got a little bit into this one last week as well. Cardinals wide receiver Zay Jones suspended 5 games for violating NFL's personal conduct policy. Free agent corner Chris Claypool will face an 8-game suspension for violating NFL's personal conduct policy. All of them are the same, all personal conduct policy. Free agent corner J.C. Jackson, kind of shocked he's not even on a team right now, is facing a 1-game suspension for violating NFL's personal conduct policy. I do not know why all of them are different. Like, Alaric Jackson has 2-game. Zay Jones has a 5-game. Chris Claypool has an 8-game. And J.C. Jackson has 1. So, I don't know what the difference is. I haven't really seen that much of that. Trades. We had, 5 trades this week? So, the Seahawks traded edge rusher Darrell Taylor to the Bears. The Browns traded defensive tackle Chris Williams to the Bears. The Bears actually reloaded their defensive line. The Titans traded quarterback Malik Willis to the Packers. The Cowboys traded tight end Peyton Hendershot to the Chiefs. And the Falcons traded quarterback Taylor Heineke to the Chargers. So, yeah, I mean, pretty decent trades. I mean, the Bears really reloaded their defensive line. Quick hits. All right. I believe that is everything. Let me see if there's like any signings or cuts that I've missed. I mean, typically there is some. I want to get through as much. This is the last episode of signings and cuts of the year until next offseason, where we'll have some more of that. The signings and cuts is an offseason thing, so we will not have that during the season. So say goodbye to signings and cuts because that was the last time we were ever going to go through that this year. We'll see him next year during the offseason. Honestly, for you guys, it might be like a little bit sad. For me, not so much. You don't know how much work that goes in writing all those down. It takes forever. All right, quick hits. The Bears corner Douglas Coleman III has been released from the hospital. In case you guys didn't know, this was a topic last week. Didn't get it in the episode last week, but he was immobilized after a scary injury that he suffered in Week 3 in Kansas City. He started with the injury on the first play of the second half. Yeah, I mean, they took him out on a stretcher and like a cart. So, I mean, Bears head coach Matt Eberflus said he's walking around, which is good news. So, yeah, good to see him getting better. Running back LaShawn McCoy to be inducted into Eagles Hall of Fame. McCoy will be inducted November 3rd of its Week 9 game versus the Jaguars. Here we go. I'm picking here. I think I went quarterback this round. A backup. I can't remember. Like, literally, I was stuck between Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, and Jordan Love. I was like, do I want like an elite backup quarterback or do I want a decent backup quarterback? I didn't know what to do with the quarterbacks. I don't know if I went quarterback or receiver. Terry McLaurin's on the board. Holy cow. And with Jaden Daniels, I don't know why I picked him. I don't know why I didn't pick him. Like, over Tank Dell, I feel like I would have done that. I don't know what I was thinking. Here we go. I think it took me a while. Like, I was busy this night. So I was focused on 2 things at once right here. Like, I had to focus on multiple things. I think I went quarterback this round. I can't remember. If my voice sounds a little bit stuffy or weird, that is probably because I do have a little bit of a cold, just a stuffy nose, but other than that. Who did I pick? Did I actually go quarterback? Yeah, I think I did. I have 20 seconds left. I had to have gone quarterback for sure. Oh, no, I guess I'm going running back. Yeah, dude, there's so much pressure whenever you're being rushed. Like 10 seconds. Man. Oh, yeah, I picked Jalen Warren. Yeah, I know I picked Jalen Warren. I just didn't know which round. But, yeah, that's my roster. I did replace DJ Moore. I put DJ Moore over Nico Collins, I will add. I think I'm about to pick again. Right away. Yep, here you go. I'm picking. This is the round I think I went quarterback. I believe so. Let's see. Keenan Allen's on the board? Come on. And I honestly thought about Keon Coleman, not going to lie. I also might pick up Jermaine Burton. Nobody drafted him, so I might want to pick him up at some point. You know, if somebody's injured or someone has a bye week, well, I'll keep track of his points. Like, trust me, Jermaine Burton, if he does good this year, that's a sneaky pick. Trust me, like late round, maybe final round pick if you have your roster. But yeah, I would definitely keep your eyes on Jermaine Burton. Like, I would like see what he can do every week and how much points he gets every week. And then if you like what he does, pick him up for sure. Or maybe if you could trade for him if you're already drafted. I think I went with quarterback. Yeah, I liked Jordan Love, Jared Goff, and Caleb Williams as one of my backups. Yeah, I was like, do I want Caleb Williams? But yeah, I went with an elite quarterback, Jared Goff as my backup. So Josh Allen and Jared Goff. That's actually kind of crazy. But anyway, back to LaShawn McCoy. Over his 12-year career, McCoy had 11,102 yards, 73 touchdowns for 518 catches. Hold on. So McCoy had 11,102 rushing yards, 73 touchdowns, 518 catches for 3,898 yards, and 16 receiving touchdowns. All right, Ravens offensive line coach Joe D'Alessandris passes away 2 weeks after an acute illness. D'Alessandris coached for 4 decades for the Chiefs, Bills, Chargers, and Ravens since 2017. He also coached in college football for Duke and Pittsburgh. George Warhop will replace D'Alessandris' absence. Yeah, this was a topic like 2 weeks ago, and it said it was an acute illness. I was like, oh, hopefully he'll be back. I guess that's not the case here. Really unfortunate, you know. That actually kind of hurt me when I first saw that. All right. My voice is getting dry, or my mouth. NFL vetoes to have an emergency third-string quarterback. So the vetoes basically mean the NFL will not allow this. The quarterback had to come from the practice squad and could have unlimited call-ups. On Monday, the league announced that the teams would be allowed to evaluate a bona fide quarterback. The quarterback must be on the 53-man roster. So yeah. Commanders owner Josh Harris says a new stadium in 2030 would be a reasonable target. The franchise has thought about transferring to RFK Stadium, which has not held an event in 5 years, which is also, I've heard, that stadium is also falling apart. Harris is hopeful of hosting the 2027 NFL Draft. The Commanders actually changed their name earlier this week from FedEx Field to Northwest Stadium. I don't know what the point was, but whatever. Vikings tight end T.J. Hawkinson to start the season on the physically unable to perform list. The 27-year-old suffered from a torn ACL and MCL. Before the injury, Hawkinson hauled in 95 catches for 960 yards and 5 touchdowns. The games the tight end is slated to miss is Giants, don't need him, 49ers, Texans, and Packers. So those 3 games, you're going to need them. So things are going to shift to Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. We'll see. The Rams actually earlier this week traded for linebacker Ernest Jones IV and a 2026 6th-round pick to the Titans for a 2026 5th-round pick. I don't know why he was so cheap. Just wanted to update on that. We have some extra right here. The Eagles corner James Bradbury suffered a leg injury and will miss 6 to 8 weeks. Bradbury suffered the injury. Suffered the injury on Wednesday, and although he will be on IR with the injury, it will not require surgery, which is the good news for Bradbury right there. Rashee Rice, the Chiefs wide receiver, is not expected to have an immediate suspension, I've heard. Even though he was speeding like 121 miles an hour and got involved in a car crash. It's been a really wild offseason for Rashee Rice, and I'm not surprised he doesn't have a suspension right now. He should get one at some point. I would not be surprised if he did. But we'll see what happens. So, all right, reactions. It's just a picture about the Eagles Eagles new uniform combo. I mean, it's nothing really major, but I'll put up the picture right here. A black helmet, black pants, white jersey. Really, nothing changes. The funny part is that I heard that I guess green wasn't permitted. I mean, in Brazil, I guess there's a rivalry where if you wear green in that stadium, that you're I don't know what happened. As I just picked Evan McPherson. Oh, I didn't know I picked the Browns defense. When that happened, guess I missed it. But I guess in that rivalry, if you wear green, you should be fined or something. So I mean, I don't know if this is what the Eagles are doing just to be sure that this doesn't happen. I don't really know, but I feel like this is either a coincidence or they're just actually trying to avoid this, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But yeah, that is all for reactions. We just had one this week. back to football, all right? This segment is going to be a yearly segment, because we're getting back to football, so we don't need this every week. This is a yearly segment. Hopefully I don't forget about this in the future. All right. This is a list of signings and trades that happened this offseason in case you forgot about, so you can remember everything for the start of the season. Linebacker Brian Burns ended up with the Giants. Running back Josh Jacobs was traded to the Packers, or maybe not traded. Running back Aaron Jones ended up with the Vikings. Linebacker Matthew Judon was traded to the Falcons. That's the newer topic, so if you guys know about that, I'm not really surprised. This one's a big one, so these next three are pretty big. Next four. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. Kirk Cousins was traded to the Falcons. Running back Derrick Henry ended up with the Ravens. Running back Joe Mixon was traded to the Texans. Wide receiver Keenan Allen ended up with the Bears. Wide receiver Mike Williams ended up with the Jets. Running back Saquon Barkley was sent to the Eagles. Quarterback Russell Wilson was sent to the Steelers. Quarterback Justin Fields was sent to the Steelers. Safety Geno Stone was traded to the Bengals, or maybe just picked up by the Bengals. I can't remember. Defensive tackle Christian Wilkins was sent to the Raiders. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs was sent to the Texans. Outside linebacker Hassan Reddick was traded to the Jets. Corner L'Jarius Sneed was traded to the Titans. Yes, you heard that right. L'Jarius Sneed, for those of you who don't know that. Running back Tony Pollard ended up with the Titans. Wide receiver Tyler Boyd ended up with the Titans. Quarterback Gardner Minshew ended up with the Raiders. Wide receiver Jerry Jeudy was traded to the Browns, and quarterback Joe Flacco ended up with the Colts. So yeah, that's back to football, a yearly segment that we will have. That is it. Other than the question of the week and quiz, there's like 5 minutes left on this draft, so we're gonna do this. I think I'm about to be up here. Yep, here we go. So I have my full roster. So now at this point, I'm just working on backups. So I have 2 slots left, 2 picks left, 3 picks actually, I think, right? I can't remember. Who did I pick? I picked Dalton Schultz, tight end. That's pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Hopefully you can see it well. Just zoom in all the way. I'm about to pick again. The thing is, when you pick like really like close again, then you can't pick in forever. So I think I went with a backup defense. Is that what I went with? Or backup kicker? No, I got Younghoe Koo already. No, oh yeah, this is where I picked Younghoe Koo as a backup kicker. I like to get backups, for the bye week, so I don't have to cut everybody. Wait, no, I went with the Ravens defense. Yeah, I still have one more pick. The next round, I went with Younghoe Koo. Yeah, that's right. Question of the week: will Jamar Chase and the Bengals reach an extension before the regular season? My answer is like literally easily a yes. I feel like there's no doubt about it. I mean, if he doesn't, I would actually be very surprised. I mean, I think this is the fact that's been going on for a while now. So, I mean, I would actually be a little bit shocked if he didn't get one this offseason or just before the season. I think he will. And even if he's not highest paid, he's going to be like top 5 highest paid, I think. So, we'll see what happens. I think he will get the extension that he needs and deserves. So that's just my take on question of the week. So, yeah, that's the question of the week. Typically, these are pretty fast ones. But, yeah, Jamar Chase is going to get an extension before the regular season. If not, you can make fun of me all you want. I don't care. Speaking of making fun of me, you guys actually made fun of me for the quiz this week. And you guys probably know what I'm talking about. So, apparently, obviously, you guys saw which NFL team won the first Super Bowl in the quiz. And for those of you who commented all this stuff like, bro, you're wrong, like the Packers won and all that, those are the kind of people that do not watch my episodes and have no idea what this is. For those of you who did not know, I'll say this plain again so everyone can hear this and there's no more excuses after this. This is a trick quiz. The correct answer is incorrect. All right? So the Packers was actually the correct answer, but the Chiefs was actually the incorrect answer. And 37% of you still picked it. I don't know how that's even possible. At some point earlier in the week, the Kansas City Chiefs one was actually higher than the Packers. But New York Jets, 0%. Dallas Cowboys, 2%. Kansas City Chiefs, 37%. Green Bay Packers, 62%. So, yeah, it's a trick quiz. You guys, the 62% of you got it right. That's the first trick quiz ever on the channel that has actually been right. You know that the majority of you actually picked the right answer. So, congrats you guys on that. Don't get mad at me ever again, please. Before we go, I actually forgot about this. We got to get back into the habit now, because next week is football season. Let's get hyped, you guys. For only like the real people know. They know what this notebook is. It's predictions. All right, the predictions are back. Recaps are starting like next week. We have a game Thursday and Friday, and then obviously multiple Sunday. So I cannot wait for this. The football is officially back. Obviously, there's college football going on right now, which I'm pumped about. I'm going to be definitely watching that. So, yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to more college football this year. But the first 2 games of the year, I'm going to say these now because, you know, it's going to be 2 days or a day after they happen. Week 1 predictions. I'm not going to get to full Week 1 predictions. I'll get to that. I'll get to the Sunday predictions next week. Thursday night, next week, next Thursday, Baltimore at Kansas City. I actually am going to take Baltimore for week 1, the season opener, because the Chiefs are thin. I mean, with their receiving room, obviously, Xavier Worthy is going to be available, thankfully, for the Chiefs. But Marquise Brown, I believe, like he's out 4 to 6 weeks, maybe just this week. So he's going to be out. And, yeah, I just like him. Yeah, there's Young Maiku right there, the draft pick that I just had. But, yeah, I feel like the Baltimore's going to win it. I mean, they have obviously receiving room, just Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. That's not going to be enough. So, but yeah, I'm taking Baltimore and their defense, even though really this is going to be a really great game. You're going to see the draft just ended. The draft is over now. Perfect timing. All right, Friday night, though. Green Bay versus Philadelphia. I'm taking Philadelphia in Brazil. That is my predictions. I will get to the entire week 1 predictions next week whenever they're like coming up. So, yeah. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. If you enjoyed, hit the like and the subscribe button and the notification button. Get notified of every single upload this channel makes. This is another long episode because of the draft and the back to football, the big segments. And football is back, guys. Get hyped. Spam in the comments. Spam in the chat right now. Football is back. It's back, guys. We've been waiting for this all off season long, and it's finally back. I will add, though, after next week's episode, I will actually miss an entire month of episode because I'll be on a 3-week vacation, but I will not be back in time to do the episode, so it's basically going to be a 4-week break episode-wise. There will be some those community posts I do where I post all the NFL news. I don't know if I'll do all of that or maybe just mainly the big ones. So you might see some updates. You probably will see some shorts every now and then. So just an update on that. I will remember you guys next week. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and week. I'll see you guys next time for another great episode on Deacon's NFL Talk.